Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. This is another thrifting haul for Christmas and thrift with me, I guess, a little. It's kind of hard to film sometimes in the store because I don't want to film other people and it's been very busy, but I tried my best to capture kind of at least the Christmas things. I was very excited because we were going to two Salvation Armies on this day, and I always find really good stuff at Salvation Army over probably any other thrift store that I go to, so I was very excited. The struggle is real sometimes trying to get a basket, separate it. So we finally got that taken care of, and then we're gonna have a look at Christmas. Now, I will say I was slightly disappointed they didn't have more like vintage Christmas, but I feel like now, I don't know, just it's become more popular, so I feel like people just grab it right away because they think it's worth money, and I don't know, I guess some things are, but not everything is like worth money just because it's vintage. So I did find they had a lot of what looks to me like 90s, 2000s looking stuff, but I did see a few cute things there. So they definitely had a lot of glasses and mugs. None of it really interested me. A lot of it kind of looked 90s or maybe 80s. Side note, not in the shot, but I accidentally bumped into the shelf like later, and I was so scared because I thought all these glasses were gonna fall over. A couple of them fell over, but nothing actually like fell off the shelf. But I was so panicked because it was filled with glasses, as you can see. I don't know if anybody remembers these, but Avon used to make these Christmas glasses. I don't know if they just made them one year and I just happen to remember them, but they have like Christmas trees on them, and then when you put either like a hot or a cold beverage in, the bells on the tree like turn red, I think. That's what that glass reminded me of a little bit, but I've been looking for those for a long time. I might eventually just break down and get them on eBay. I think they were like early 80s, maybe late 70s, I can't remember. We actually had these angels that I'm holding in this bag on my tree when I was growing up, and you could position them where a light would go. They have like a little hole in the back of them, so you could position like a light up behind it, and we had quite a few of them. I considered getting them for the nostalgia factor, but they don't really go with my tree, so I didn't want to be wasteful. I thought this looked interesting. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I think you kind of fold it out like an accordion, and it looked kind of old. They had a lot of different light bulbs here, and I had just made my light bulb wreath, so I was thinking if I ever wanted to make another one, I could get a bunch of bulbs secondhand. In general, it looked like things had been pretty picked over, and there was, like I said, definitely a lot of like early 2000s looking stuff. There was a lot of snowmen, I thought, which isn't my favorite thing. I like cute vintage snowmen, but not so much modernish ones. I thought this like Millennium Edition snow globe was funny. I can't believe it's been that long, but I considered getting this Tin Man Nutcracker, but he was broke and they wanted kind of a lot for it. I think I ended up flipping it over, and like they're asking, I think, almost as much as what it originally cost. I thought this looked very like 80s looking. Just like, I don't know, I guess you just stick it in your window. It's supposed to look like stained glass. They had a whole bunch of these like satin bells, I think they were all the 1980s. I didn't check the year on all of them, but these were super popular in the 80s, though I know I have a few from when I was a child. I thought that reindeer was semi-cute, but it's not really my style. But then I spotted this Ziggy. I think he's a salt or pepper shaker. I love Zicky. It's like very popular in the early 80s, I think. Maybe 70s. I don't know. They also had this really large nut bowl, like for cracking nuts. It looks similar to mine, but mine's only kind of like half of that. It was really gross looking though, so plus I didn't really need it, but I thought it was cool. I think those mugs were like Norman Rockwell depictions. They had a whole bunch of them, but it's not really my style. And then they had this bell. Stuff like this makes me feel very almost sad because it says grandparents, and I think it was 1983. Whenever I see stuff like that, I always think like those grandparents probably aren't with us anymore, and that's why their stuff is in a thrift store, or it could be that they moved into a nursing home or something. It's just, I don't know, it gets me all in the feels every time I see stuff like that. I think later I see something about great grandparents, and the same thing happened. It was like, oh. I love these burner covers, but my stove is actually a flat top, which I really don't like. When I get a new stove, I'm definitely getting coils again. And then I saw this piece. I might be in the minority here, but I honestly feel like Fire King and Glass Bake, this one's Glass Bake, made way cuter patterns than Pyrex. I know, I feel like I'm definitely in the minority there because I know Pyrex has like a diehard following, but I don't know. This clock was actually here the last time I was here, and I really love it, and my clock just broke in my kitchen, but it has to be plugged in to work, if it works, and I don't have a place where I could do that in the kitchen, so I left it behind again, but I do really, really love it. I feel like it would definitely fit my kitchen aesthetic. I always see this kind of stuff at a lot of places too. I already have quite a few pieces like this, so I wasn't looking to add to it, but I definitely think these were like 80s, maybe early 90s. We had this exact same piece in the thrift store I used to work at, so it just unlocked a memory for me when I saw it there. Okay, it was the store where I saw the great grandmother thing, make Christmas special. Like, this almost made me cry in the store because I actually knew two of my great grandparents, like well into my teenage years. They were still alive and with us, and I don't know, just kind of sad in that moment. I don't know why I was feeling particularly sentimental while I was walking around, and I was like, oh, because they're probably not with us anymore. They had lots of Christmas dishes as well, but again, very 90s, 2000s looking. And I don't actually need any more Christmas dishes either. But yeah, not Christmas, but they had this light fixture there last time, and I kind of love it. But I don't know. I don't really have a place for it exactly, although maybe. I think it would fit my kitchen aesthetic really well, so I'm tempted. So then we are at the second location. This one's actually my favorite out of the two. It's bigger, and I like the way they have it set up a little bit more, and the staff are friendlier. The staff at the first one are friendly as well, but they just have this weird, like, energy in there. It's, like, very frantic, and you can, like, feel it when you're in there. This store is a lot bigger, and they have a way bigger selection of Christmas, but again, I feel like it was pretty picked over at this point. This was just last weekend when we went, so I don't know. But they did have a lot more stuff and more vintage stuff than the first shop. Whenever I see these like plastic style placemats, it always reminds me of being a kid, because I feel like we just had them all the time for every occasion, and my grandparents would have them at their house. I was looking at Christmas photos from when I was a child recently, and I could like see them in a bunch of photos. I didn't see any of the ones that we had though, but I thought this picture looked really cool. It was like done with the yarn. It's almost like, you know, they would, I think it's called like cross stitch, but it was like with yarn and it wasn't cross stitched. They had a bunch of VHS, but I think I had all of them already. I didn't see any that I didn't have. I have a whole bunch of these too. I see these everywhere as well. I think they were in the 80s as well. I thought these angels were kind of cute, but I didn't end up getting them. But now that I'm seeing them again, I'm like, oh, I should have got those. At first I thought they were bells because that's what they kind of reminded me of, but I kind of wish I would have got them. That's the only thing I don't like about filming myself thrifting is I always end up seeing things that I wish I got, whereas if I wasn't filming, I would just have totally forgot about them. I definitely have a soft spot for these old like candles that are, you know, different figures. I have so many already, but I still feel drawn to them. These little, I think they're called Christmas Friend candle holders. I see these everywhere as well. I think these were like late 70s, early 80s, but I see them everywhere. I have them. I think they made 6 different ones, and I have all of the different ones, but I see them everywhere. I think I even see them again on a different shelf in here. Yep, there's another one. And another one. They're like everywhere. Lots of different trays and things, but again, very 90s, early 2000s looking. Just not at all my aesthetic. They had lots of mugs too. I'm always looking for like older mugs, but again, they just all looked very early 2000s. And then I found some more of my glasses, and the Christmas geese make another appearance. I just don't get it. I guess there's a market for it. This is the point where it was starting to get really busy in there, and there was a bunch of people around me, so I was trying not to like film anyone else, or I was just sort of trying to zoom in on some things because there was people right next to me on both sides. Yeah, and then I noticed they had this big bag of wooden ornaments. I think it was $12. I already have so many that I don't need anymore, but for someone who was looking for that, that would have been a great deal. So hopefully those found a home with someone who will love them. I noticed in their case they had like an old, I think it's supposed to be like a radio, but like Sesame Street, Big Bird on it. Looks very 80s. And this is the shop, I think I've shown it before, but they have tons of different teapots all in this display case. And then I believe they still had that apple I showed in another video as well. Someone told me exactly what it was, but I forget already. But I thought it was a timer, so I just had no idea. They had a bunch of Corningware here, but none of my pattern. I really liked this. This is very my aesthetic, but I don't have a use for it. And I saw these very pretty pots. I wish that they still made pots like this because I love them so much. Like I would love to have these in my kitchen, but there's no way I would use old pots because it freaks me out way too much. And then I spotted this sign for VHS, 6 for $1, and you know I was all over that. I did not film it though. I found this really cute recipe box. I kind of wish I would have bought this because I know I could have resold this. Super cute. I already have a really cute one, so I had like no need for it, but looking at it now, I'm like, why didn't I get that? I could have sold that, but oh well. I also love this store because they have a lot of furniture. I thought it was like an end table with a lamp built right in. I thought that was really cute. And then I saw this coffee table, which, side note, I didn't film it for some reason. I just filmed like the Christmas things I bought, but I did end up getting that coffee table as well. So very excited. And then I saw these very interesting looking, I don't know if these are vases or not, so I just decided to film them. The rest of the furniture I think was basically the same as what I've already shown. So now we're getting into the haul portion. So I got this thing that's really cool. I've seen these a bunch, but I've never bought one, or like I've seen them in other people's videos. I just recently saw one in someone's video and I thought, oh, maybe I could find one of those. And then the very next time I went out, I found one. So that was cool. But I end up taking a shot of it when it's going, but you put a candle in it and it will like spin around. It was missing one of the like hooks, so I only had 3 spinning, but I don't know, there's something about stuff like this that's like very mesmerizing. I had it going and John and I were just staring at it for the longest time before we realized that we were in like a trance staring at it. It was funny, but you can get like more elaborate ones as well, but I've not found any of those. I ended up getting the sign because I thought it was really cute. I'm not sure like when it was made because I know toll painting was very popular in the 90s, but to me this looks older than the 90s. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't know, there's something about it that I just had to have it. It's just very, very cute. And then I found this bag filled with satin bells. I think a couple are not in the greatest of shape, but I feel like I don't even see these that much anymore, whereas I used to see them all the time. I think it was $1 for this bag, maybe $2. I kind of want to start collecting them and then do a tree in like satin bells maybe. And then I did end up picking up this like accordion thing. I haven't actually opened it yet, so I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what it is. And it looked kind of old too, so, and it was inexpensive, so I thought, let's give it a try. And then I found this vintage Garfield Santa stuffed animal. This reminded me so much of my childhood. I don't think I had this exact one, but it was, I think, from like the 80s. But yeah, I did have something similar, but I don't think it was Garfield. But I just remember how popular this type of thing was, like for kids back when I was a kid. And then I found this really adorable pot holder. I'm not sure like how old it is, but it just, the photo on it made it look very like 50s, but I doubt it's actually that old. But I'm gonna give that a wash. I don't think I'm gonna bother putting it out this year because I don't have anywhere to put it, but I'm definitely gonna put that out next year. And I also found this like paper tablecloth with the holly and berries on it. The sole reason I bought this was because I have these vintage napkins that have the exact same pattern on them, so I don't know, like I probably won't even use it, but for some reason I felt the need to have it. And then I found another one of my glasses. This one, it's a bit, you can tell the difference between the new one. It's a bit like faded, but it was the exact kind of size cup that John uses to make drinks in. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get it anyway, even though it's a little bit faded. But I love this pattern. I'm so excited. I've been finding so much of it. And then I did end up getting the Ziggy salt and pepper shaker. I couldn't resist that. I have a whole bunch of like Christmas Ziggy things that I've been collecting for a while, so I felt like I just needed to get it, and it was pretty inexpensive, so very happy with that. And then I found these 2 ceramic mice. I'm not sure how old these are, but I thought they were cute, but I couldn't decide if I wanted them. Like I was debating it for a long time, and then I thought, well, They're pretty inexpensive. You should just get them because this will be the thing that you look back and see them. I'm not even sure if I showed them in the video, but if I did, if I saw them, I would have been thinking I should have just bought those. So I ended up buying them. I just set them on top of my TV, on top of my little converter box, and I think they look super cute. So I'm not sure how old they are, but they kind of have like an 80s look to me, but maybe they're older. I don't know. Maybe they're newer. And then I did end up getting the snowman candle. I just couldn't resist. I have so many already. Well, I just have one other one that's a snowman, I think. But I think this one's actually cuter than the snowman that I have currently. So I don't know. I feel like these were really popular in like the 1970s. The middle part is just all white. They just kind of like paint the design on. But I have quite a few of them. And then I did get another Christmas CD. I thought the selection here looked really good, so I've like the only CDs I have are Christmas. But I don't know, we just put them in the car and listen to them during like when we're out driving, so it's festive. And then I did find a couple of Christmas VHS. I'm actually I've never heard of this movie before, but it intrigued me. And then when I looked at the back, I realized that Sammy Davis Jr. is in this film, and it was actually his last film before he passed away. And actually, the film says 1990, but I'm pretty sure Sammy died in 1989 or maybe 88. So it must have come out after he already passed. But I thought that was cool. We haven't watched it yet, but might try to squeeze that in this year. And I did get a whole bunch more VHS, but I've decided I'm just going to start putting all of my VHS in like a one video, because I feel like some people, or maybe a lot of people, don't care about the VHS in my hauls, but then there's other people who are here for VHS content, so I'm just going to make a separate video for that. But then I found a Chipmunks Christmas. This is one of my favorites from when I was a kid that we would watch every year. I mean, I still watch it sometimes too. It's cute and very nostalgic. And then I found the Mixed Nuts DVD, which we didn't already own. And I actually only watched this movie for the first time last year. I know it's like an old movie, like from the 90s, but I'd never seen it before. But I'd heard it's funny, and I definitely agree that it is funny. And then I found this like compilation DVD with a few old movies on it, so I got that, even though I do already have Holiday Affair. And then I realized when I got home I do also have Christmas Without Snow, but that's okay. Anyway, that was all I ended up getting. Not too many things, because I don't really need that much, and I didn't see that much vintage things that are my aesthetic, but this is definitely going to be the last Christmas haul of the season, because I mean, we're only like a week away from Christmas, so I wasn't expecting to get more. But then when we were out thrifting for other things, I was like, well, maybe I'll find some Christmas things. So anyway, I hope everyone's having a lovely holiday season so far, and I will see you again soon.